Welcome to Pitch in the Zone, a weekly gathering of coaches that help one presenter with a 3-minute pitch. Our coaches at Pitch in the Zone include Nathan Gold, hailing from San Francisco. He is a high-stakes presentation coach. We have Scotty Spursum, who focuses on language and accent reduction. Michael Marchak, joining us from Chicago. He's an angel investor, a CTO, author, speaker, and an extremely experienced person in the startup world. Rick Pollack, joining us from Boston, Massachusetts. Rick is also a presentation coach. He has experience with TEDx speakers. And of course, Massimo Peroncelli, joining us from Thailand, a serial entrepreneur with a lot of experience pitching new ideas, startups. And also today, we have coming back Curtis Mickelson. Curtis, really great to see you again. I already look forward to your feedback as well. And our presenter today is Nara Kim. Her company is called VYA, and it is a fashion and home decor marketplace that adds a social aspect to the shopping experience. Nara, welcome to Pitch in the Zone.
Thank you very much. It's nice to be here.
Before we get started, I would like to ask you, who is the target audience so that we can put on the right hats for the job today?
It is a American female, Gen Z and millennial.
So your pitch is to the consumer. It's not an investor pitch?
No, it's an investor pitch. Sorry, the actual customer buying from our platform would be an American female, Gen Z, millennial age group. And then in terms of who I'd be pitching to, I'm looking to pitch for pre-seed funding right now.
Excellent. Okay. And Massimo will also have a countdown timer on his screen. So if you want to keep an eye on that, just to make sure that you are somewhere within more or less the 3 minutes. And with that, I welcome you again to Pitch in the Zone. Nara, if you are going to show slides, please set them up now. And whenever you're ready, take a deep breath and the floor is yours.
Okay. If Google Street View had a kid sister with a knack for discovering unique products and stores, her name would be VIA. Unlike her brother, however, she would show you the best shopping neighborhoods in Paris, let you virtually walk into a store, browse, and let you buy your favorite products from that store without AR, VR glasses. Not sure if that outfit would look good on you? With VIA, you can invite your friends to join you on your virtual shopping excursion and ask for their opinion in real time. This is not your ordinary fashion and design marketplace platform, but don't take my word for it. Over 60% of the US American females that we surveyed in the US, like Sonia, would shop on VIA. Why? Because VIA creates a unique experience by combining 3 interesting factors. First one, exploration. Travel around the world virtually. Number 2, socialization. Invite your friends and connect with them in real time. And lastly, immersion. Using a range of interactive technologies that allows you to virtually try on and buy products from multiple stores and cities all at once. This is VIA, the kid sister transforming the online shopping experience by bringing you inside when Google Street View left you at the front door. My name is Nara Kim, co-founder and CEO of VIA. Find us at shopvia.com. Thank you.
All right. I think this is a first. You boiled down the 3-minute pitch into 1.5 minutes. So there is still a lot of time that you could have used, but I love what I heard. I believe the very first time your energy was a little bit on a different level, and Michael made a comment in the chat about this as well.
Yeah.
So let me open the round of feedback with Michael. Michael, please take it from here.
So as you can tell, I am neither a millennial female nor a Gen Z female. But looking at, and I don't identify one as you either. So as you started talking about this before the presentation started, it was you. Nara was there, she was present, and she was talking to us. As soon, and you mentioned this earlier, but I think it was so pronounced it was kind of scary. It was going from Nara's telling, yeah, well, we do this here, we're talking this here, blah, blah, blah. Okay, then you go, imagine Google Street Maps and our kid's sister.
Yeah.
And when you were reading, you lost me, I think you lost you during that. And so that's a hard thing to go through. So when I suggest talking to anybody, think of it like a dinner party. Okay, you sit down with somebody and then you sit down next to somebody, you never met them. They go, no, hey, that's a cute outfit. Where'd you get that? Oh, I just, what do you do? What do you do?
Yeah.
You're not going to go, well, I work at VYA, the kid sister of the, you don't go into that. It's like, I have a fashion platform that I developed, this kind of a social interaction kind of thing. And it's really targeted towards the millennials, Gen Zs, because they're very social in the way they interact with each other. It's kind of cool. Really? Tell me some more about that. You've got me. You've hooked me. And then I'm hearing you, not the very, very carefully worded, prepared script you have. Now, it's not bad to try to kind of stay on a script because so you make sure you hit all the points. Yeah. But boy, I lost you during that start of it. So it's really tough. Now, during that presentation, there's a bunch of gaps. If you're actually trying to talk with a pre-seed, an angel investor who's going to look for this, they're going to look for some of your financing estimates, any kind of estimates of any kind. Are you live right now? I don't know. When you start looking at your targeting, how are you planning on targeting these people? And who are you? That this is, why would you be the one to be bringing this to market? And finally, when I went through this, like, I didn't even know what you were asking for at the end because there wasn't an ask. It was like, thanks, have a nice day. And
I guess,
like,
okay.
You want $50? You want $1,000? You want $1 million? Do you have other investors in it right now? What's your run rate? I had no idea about your business at all. So when you said this was an investor pitch at the beginning, that's what we're listening for as an investor. Get in the shoes of an investor. If someone's asking you for money, what are you going to want to know? What do you do? Who are you going after? And I didn't get any of those questions answered. So it's kind of hard to evaluate it as a investor pitch when I generally understand the idea, but there was no asks and no details.
So I guess maybe that was my I need to clarify that point. So the pitch that I prepared wasn't necessarily the one I was doing for an investor. I have an actually investor pitch, but this was more, I think, to get feedback on the general idea. And this is where then I would blow it out based on some of the key points of like then adding in the respective parts that are specific to investors, like the financial side. I apologize. I was using this session more to kind of finally start really focusing on doing at least the concept idea a little bit more high level before getting into more details, like kind of like you said, the dinner party conversation. I've done that. And this is how I kind of refined how I talk about the idea, because people said, what do you do? And then I found that the Google Street View idea was the easiest anchoring point for somebody, right? Because everyone's used it, and then kind of move into that. But no, your point's totally taken. This is where I then need to understand what are the key points I need to include then when I actually flush it out to a more of a, I guess, proper investor pitch.
Yep, because that's the hat you asked us to put on at the beginning. So that's the lens from which I was looking at it.
Yeah, misleading. I misled you there. Sorry. Apologize for that.
No problem at all, Nora. And also, we have so many different people coming through here at different stages of their pitch. Some of them come to just test the concept, even without being ready at all for a real investor pitch yet. So do not worry about that. That's actually exactly our function here, to help people at any stage during this entire process. And so, just take the feedback in as it comes, because it will help you to flesh out the final product, no matter how early you are right now. All right, moving on. Scotty, what kind of feedback do you have? And I think I already know one area that you are going to explore with Nara.
Good morning. Hi, Nara. Nice
Hi,
to meet
how are
you.
you? Nice to meet you.
Yeah, and thank you for clarifying what your intent was with the pitch. So when I put on my shopping hat, and even though I'm not a Gen Z, I did like the idea of being able to go shopping with my friends to try stuff on because I hate to shop. So I thought that was actually kind of cool.
Okay.
I'd like to see a little bit more about how that works. I mean, just enough to
Yep.
tease me to actually do it.
Yep.
And I'm not. And I don't do a lot of shopping online, so that would be another thing. If you want to try to broaden that market eventually. I know that my daughter-in-law and my nieces and shop this way, so I'm sure you know your target market better than I do. Regardless of whether this is an investor pitch or not, there are a couple of things I would recommend, and especially for the freezing thing, because that's not uncommon.
Yeah.
Do some breathing exercises or even watch Amy Cuddy's video. I don't know if you've seen her video on how your body language, it's a TED Talk, how your body language affects who you are.
Yes, I've seen. Is she the one who does the power?
Yeah, the power poses,
Okay.
so maybe even just consider doing a power pose. Find
Yeah.
something for yourself before you start big meetings or big events, and do some sort of breathing. And then also just memorize the first 60 seconds. Record it 1,000,000 times so you hear yourself over and over again and make sure you like what you say. Because usually once you can get past that first minute, people can get through the deer in the headlights, moment. So those are some techniques that I think work really well for me and work for other people. What Michael said, and I will double down on that, is we didn't hear you. And so like, why you? There was I didn't get a personal hook to this. It was more, I don't mind the Google Street View's sister, but it's clever actually, and very clever the way you wrapped it again at the end. But I didn't hear anything about you in it, and that's where we need sort of a personal hook. So, how did you come up with this idea? Are you willing to share just a little bit with us now? I'm assuming we have the time, Claudia.
Yes, I mean, the idea was inspired because I spent COVID lockdown here in Italy, in Milan. And as a country that was hit very severely by COVID, I would walk every single day and the streets were so quiet because there was no tourism. And it was sad to see all these stores that were closed. And for someone who's lived abroad for so many years, I realized so many people will never see how beautiful like Italy is. They say they will travel, they want to come visit, but they never will. And I think that's just the reality of a lot of people who don't like to travel, and especially now during the times of COVID, they're more reluctant. So for me, it was bringing the beauty of these different places to people. And so I think using like technology where, I think AR, VR was very big during lockdown. You got to see inside museums, you got to see different places that you normally couldn't see. That it's similar in the sense like some of these neighborhoods are beautiful and you'll never see it. And, I want to be able to show people around the world these different areas and also direct them to the best shopping neighborhoods because, Italy is one of those places where it's all about the small mom and pop shop, right? All these beautiful stores that you would only discover by wandering around the side streets of Italy or Paris or even New York City. So for me, that was the inspiration of really connecting people to all these great cities around the world because I'm a big traveler and you see it and a lot of people will never see it in their life. So it's kind of giving them the opportunity to shop, explore, and also to your point, shopping with friends, right? How many times have you like sent a link to someone? Do you like this dress on me? Do you like this? Do you like that? And you're just like texting back and forth. I was like, well, why can't we just look together? And that was sort of why I kind of connected all those different pieces together. So.
And why, which is really cool, but why are you the person who can actually connect those pieces? Because I thought I heard you say you don't use AR, VR to do this shopping.
No, you don't use the AR, VR glasses. You don't need AR, VR glasses.
Oh, you don't need glasses.
No,
okay.
You don't need the glasses to actually do it. My background.
I've never used them. So, okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, this is the best part, right? You don't need any additional equipment. You could just use it on your laptop and actually see and go through the experience. I think what like Facebook and Oculus and all those doing is a little bit on a much different level. They're trying to create this metaverse, which is what I'm not trying to do. I just want you to be able to see inside the store, actually see what the street looks like. These are the sort of more functionalities don't require anything, let's say fancy in terms of that. In terms of my background, I've worked in fashion for over 20 years. And so my background is fashion, e-commerce, and marketplace. And my co-founder is an Italian entrepreneur who's been working in the AR/VR field for the last 15 years. So for us, it's like fashion meets tech. So left brain, right brain coming together. And we both had similar ideas in the sense he's Italian. He's also seen, the economy being impacted by COVID. So we felt like this was a good time to kind of, change how people are shopping, given that people are just traveling and doing things very differently in the past 2 years. So this is how we
Can I break in right now? What you just said right now was the stuff that everybody wanted to hear. I mean, honestly, what you just said, and you said it as you didn't read it. You just told us a story, and that's what we were hoping for. So when you go back and re-listen to this recording, that's what we want.
Yeah, you've got the recipe for an entire pitch for any audience.
Okay.
Even just with that, even without fleshing it out a whole lot more.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's what I love about how you are asking these questions, Scotty. You always get deep down into the motivation, into the why. And that is something that really resonates with others. Absolutely fantastic. Thanks for asking these questions and digging deeper and deeper and deeper. I'm just going to hop around my screen here today. Curtis, how about your feedback to Nara?
All right. Hey.
Hello.
So just looking at my notes here, I kind of have 4 C's that I'm listening for: compelling, coherent, concise, and courageous. You hit concise. I mean, you were in a minute and a half. So you really were concise.
Okay.
I think the compelling part I'm still looking for. Yeah. You said there was a 60% stat that just didn't pull me there. It's like, okay. What about the other 40%? There's like, I'd like to know that maybe you did a little prototype, or, there's a lot of lightweight testing you can do that costs virtually nothing. And because what if it turns out you got a lot of strong assumptions that these millennials and Gen Zs would love to do this, but a prototype can, give you some harder data, some clearer data on whether the experience is really what they're looking for or not. So I'd love to know, just like, okay, we ran these 10 tests, these discrete tests, this is what we discovered. And in overwhelmingly 9 out of 10 of our target loved this experience, right? I just want a little more data to hear compelling, like you've got the solution to a real aching problem. And I think the backstory you were just giving there, as everybody noted, was so powerful. And helps, I think a lot of us, you're not alone. A lot of us sat at home crying during a pandemic, thinking about traveling to Milan. And maybe you're offering virtual travel. Maybe this is less about fashion. Maybe it's about virtualized travel.
Yeah.
Who knows? But I could be pulled in. That could be very compelling. Okay. So I'd say those were and I just didn't hear the solution yet. And maybe it's early days for you. I just had lots of questions around what that solution was. So that's it for me.
Thank you. Thanks much, Curtis. And moving right along, listening to Nara, you must already feel a little homesick. So take it from here. And what kind of feedback do you have for Nara?
Yes. Well, I'm not going to repeat what everybody has said, because at the beginning and also when you told your story, you were you yourself, and you was day and night and black and white. So absolutely. Just when you will listen it again, you will really just have so many.
Cringe, but okay.
Just so many ideas for the pitch, because it's all there basically. It's who, why you, what happened, why you got this idea, and then. To me, 3 things. One, we know that feedback from people is really important. So in this specific case, I was thinking, and I believe so, if those are real feedbacks, wouldn't it be possible to get like maybe a 3-second video from 3 different people saying, yeah, I love that, I tried that, it's unbelievable. My grandma was able to look at me, and just 3 different reasons. In real time, being video, 3 seconds by 3 people is 9 seconds, so it's not too long. Then I didn't understand if you're already live or not, because if you are, okay, or if you have something somehow working, it would be nice to kind of see what's going on. Because the real problem for me as a tech guy would be, how is it different from a group video call?
Okay.
So I don't really see the added value. I mean, what's the difference in putting an address here and making a video call in WhatsApp with 3 people? I didn't get why.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I know this is one of the things where something more graphic or a video would actually be impactful. So we're working on a video right now. The first cut was mediocre. So yeah, to show the experience. So it is inviting you. You're technically in a group call like this, but you and I are shopping together, right? Because I'm controlling the website and we're walking into a store together. So it is the group interaction, but we're seeing the screen together and we're talking and we're, I like that dress, I like that shoe, or, add it to your cart and let's move to another city and shop that city. So you're right of what it is. And maybe I think either good or bad, these Zoom call type things have you already have a preconceived notion of what that experience could look like, which is either going to be bad, or you think you already know what that's going to look like. And you just like, oh, but now I can shop with my friend in it. So that's a very valid point. So I think when this video that we've been trying to create kind of shows how the experience would look like, because we don't have a working prototype right now. It would just be sort of more conceptual. This is the experience. This is what the consumer journey would look like. And this is how it works. But that would something we would.
Thank you. And yeah, except for the food, you did not make me homesick. I just missed it. Thank you. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Massimo. And Rick, what kind of feedback do you have for Nara? We have another 5 minutes, 4 or 5 minutes.
All right. Nara, I understand the concept much better now from all your comments in between than I did from what you were saying.
Okay.
But a couple things, when you at the beginning, when you said, Google Street View had a kid sister, I didn't realize you had said Google Street View until around the 3rd time. Street View was kind of, so just be very careful when you say that, Google Street View, because I've seen it was Google had a kid sister, and what did she say after Google? So that kind of got lost, and part of it is the audio through Zoom.
Okay.
But even that with a kid sister, I think more of if you started with, we can see stores on Google Street View, and maybe a picture of that. Start with that, right after the logo, and then say, but that's not telling you the whole thing. Imagine if there was a guide or a kid's sister that could actually show you what's inside the store. And then you could, with your friends, shop together.
Okay.
So I think that might grab people sooner. So because I was lost at the beginning, Google Streets out there, Google had kid's sister, and then you're showing the shopping. So it took me a while to catch on to what it was in the first few seconds. So I think the opening can be a little clearer. You had the 3 things: the exploration, the socialization, the immersion, and you only talked for a minute and a half out of the 3, but you definitely could expand that.
Okay.
My understanding from all the conversation after your pitch is that the problem that you're solving is, people really don't know these stores. They need someone to show them the stores and they can shop with their friends. It's more of a social shopping in the stores. So I think that's something that, a kind of a before and after, or a contrast of, now you really can't. You're at home, you don't know what's in those stores. But if you can actually use more of an example, either of what you're wearing. I picked this out and I wish I could have gone shopping with my friend. So I think, you can do that. And then it's more conversational. It's more you than reading from a script. So I think, that would be that, and just, make sure that you're clear on what the problem is before and the unique way that you're solving it and going to make that. The other comment is, I know you said fashion and home decor, but you talked, I think, just about fashion in all your comments. So if that's part of that as well, and, just from the example, I like that dress, I like that shoe, I like that, but, put in a couple home decor things in that. So it just more expands, what you do for any of the stores, and more personalized on, here's the shopping experience, without it, here's the shopping experience with your friends. And you don't have to wear the goggles, but you're going to get that experience of what's inside the store instead of just what Google Street View is showing you.
Okay.
But very nice. I like the concept.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rick. Thank you very much. And that gets me to ask you, Nara, has this feedback been helpful to you? And if so, in what way?
Yes, no, I mean, it's interesting because some of the feedback that was given, I struggled with sort of the uniqueness of the opening, right? So imagine if Google Street View had a kid sister versus something more, let's say, basic, say, I'm sure all of you have used Google Street View to find a home or a business, right? So, you know, when I tested this with different people, if Google Street View had a kid sister, it seemed to be more memorable because it was a little bit different. But the other one was more like basic and layman terms, so people understood it. So I struggled between which two, and I kind of was focused more on the unique factor. But it sounds like going more basic and saying, I'm sure all of you have used Google Street View to find this, seemed to be easier to anchor the concept maybe as a starting point. And then maybe I can find the creative twist somewhere in the afterwards. So maybe the way I ended it, it's like, well, Google Street View only takes you to the front door. We take you inside and kind of end it that way. So I think, yes, it's interesting to get people's feedback now that I've now pitched it to people who I don't know and the feedback. So I think this is another data point just to include of, you know, and then just maybe switching it. So I might have to just kind of, you know, pivot depending on who I talk to. But so far the Google Street View analogy seems to be one that's worked well. And I even met someone from Google when I didn't know that. And I was like, hey, have you ever used Google Street View? She's like, yes, I did, because I work for Google. I'm like, great. So you know exactly what it does, right? So in that way, I think it seems to be a good starting point. But the other points about bringing my personality in the story, I think I struggled with to what extent, like the why. I know, and you know, I've heard a lot of pitches. I've seen a lot of pitches, and it's like, this is a problem, this is a solution. And I guess it doesn't really sound like me either. So I think I just need to figure out how to like naturally or say those things without sounding so scripted, which is the problem I have right now. I sound very scripted all the time when it becomes into like having to present versus just if you just met me at a party and we started talking, I would tell you my idea and why I did it. So no, it's valuable feedback. Clearly I was not ready, but this is good because I'm going to be like this all the time, right? Someone's just going to be like, hey, tell me your idea. And I'm just like, okay, yeah. So, you know, get thrown in the fire.
And this is really, really the beauty about this iterative process that we're going through here. And I do want to invite you to come back. You are currently working with Nathan, right?
Yes.
And so do your thing with Nathan, and then towards the end of the month, I think the next available date would be, I think, the 25th of November. Okay. Hop on the calendar and come back, because in my world, there is no such thing as too much feedback, especially if it's really, really constructive feedback. So please come back and show us how you have taken this feedback here and all the results of working together with Nathan. And just a little side note on the Google Street View and your opening, I liked it because it really made me think. It made me, you know, you engaged me immediately because it's kind of these what if questions that get people going. Yet before, in your last sentence or last paragraph, not of the pitch, but just before, you said a really, really catchy thing, and that is Google Street View gets you to the door, we get you inside of the store. That kind of thing, to me, that was just like, there we go. Now that's the distinction. So maybe work a little bit with that as well. But I think you are already on a very, very good path, and with all of the coaching that you're receiving from Nathan, and hopefully you will be coming back by the end of the month again. I think you will be more than ready before you know it.
Yeah, he's helping me get over my freezing of like switching. I'm like literally bipolar by the time I had this impression before our session here started today. You are a tremendously engaging communicator, and I see this a lot with people that are so natural. As soon as the lights come on, somehow a different personality is being introduced. And I think, you know, on one side,
practice will help you with that to become more and more natural. Number two, once you really get your message and your script, the flow in your system, and not just in your mind, but in your heart, and then you communicate it from your heart to the hearts of your audience, I think you will be a rock star with your pitches. So I look forward to see the next iteration in a couple of weeks, Nara. And in the meantime, I want to thank all of the coaches for your services to these entrepreneurs and founders week in and week out. Your feedback usually, not usually, always helps to improve tremendously. So thank you very much for helping our founders here at Pitch in the Zone. And I look forward to seeing everybody again next week. In the meantime, enjoy a wonderful day, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
See you. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.